Young Water Sustainability Leaders. Of supercharging talents to drive success. Empowerment and growth for limitless possibilities. Towards green business transitions, we are Expert Hub, Knowledge Hub, Talent Hub in energy sector, and sustainability concern. Bringing together the expertise and resources. Empowering growth and supercharging talent employability. Connecting innovation and market. Enhancing capacity and building partnerships and networks to address communities' needs and aspiration. We support and empower partners in maximizing positive impacts, in unlocking potentials to grow towards a sustainable future.
When water is there, life thrives with such flair. When water is scarce, life seems in despair. When water is unpredictable, our world feels unendurable. Water can create peace, but also can spark a conflict. As climate change looms and populations boom, nations must urgently convene to safeguard this vital scene. We must all realize, water is a human right, no compromise. Intrinsic to every aspect of life. Public health and prosperity, food and energy security, economic productivity, and environmental integrity. On the World Water Day 2024, we work together and collaborate, hand in hand, creating a peaceful world so no one's left behind. Let's bring solutions into sight, uniting us in its might. Water for peace. Let this cause never cease.
Generasi Muda PUPR atau Genmud PUPR dibentuk atas arahan Menteri PUPR Bapak Basuki Hadi Mulyono yang bertujuan sebagai wadah komunikasi lintas generasi guna menjaga sinergi dan kolaborasi, meningkatkan kompetensi dan kepekaan terhadap lingkungan sekitar. Saat ini, penggerak kegiatan Genmud PUPR tersebar di seluruh UNOR di Kementerian PUPR yang semakin membuat eksistensi Genmud kian terpancar dengan telah terlaksananya Genmud PUPR berdialog, peringatan HUT Kemerdekaan RI dan Hari Bakti PU, pesta rakyat, serta kegiatan lainnya oleh para generasi muda di setiap UNOR di Kementerian PUPR. Pada tanggal 17 Agustus 2020, Genmud PUPR telah membacakan deklarasinya di Panggung Merdeka di depan Bapak Menteri PUPR, di mana Genmud PUPR siap dan sigap menjadi garda terdepan penyediaan infrastruktur di Indonesia. Mereka adalah insan-insan bangsa yang berjiwa I-Proof, setia kepada Pancasila dan NKRI, senantiasa meningkatkan kompetensi dan berinovasi, serta tak gentar menghadapi era baru demi kemajuan bangsa.
Young Water Sustainability Leaders. Of supercharging talents to drive success. Empowerment and growth for limitless possibilities. towards green business transitions. We are expert hub, knowledge hub, talent hub in energy sector, and sustainability concern. Bringing together the expertise and resources, empowering growth and supercharging talent employability, connecting innovation and market, enhancing capacity and building partnerships and networks to address communities' needs and aspiration. We support and empower partners in maximizing positive impacts, in unlocking potentials to grow towards a sustainable future.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, namo buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. To start this webinar and to increase our sense of nationalism, let us hear and sing the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. To all participants, please give your attention.
Jangan
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to
Recording in
give
progress.
the warmest welcome to our respected Minister of Public Works and Housing, Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Basuki Hadi Mulyono, Director of 10th World Water Forum, World Water Council, Ms. Yoon Jin Kim, all magnificent panelists from United Nations Development Program, or UNDP, World Bank, Danone Indonesia, IHEDELF, ECADIN, and youth delegates from World Water Council. Also to our moderator, Sabrina Farah Salsabila, from Nuffic Southeast Asia, and all distinguished guests and participants that has been participating online via Zoom meeting and YouTube live streaming on ECADIN. I'm Hiro Renaldi, young generation of Ministry of Public Works and Housing, and it's my great honor to be your Master of Ceremony for today's highly anticipated international webinar of Young Water Sustainability Leaders Summit 2024 towards global water security, a critical link to lasting peace. This webinar is organized by Youth National Organization Committee, 10th World Water Forum in collaboration with ECADIN and Young Generation of Ministry of Public Work and Housing, or Generasi Muda PUPR, that aims to raise awareness about the critical link between water security and lasting peace. Also, to provide a platform for young water sustainability leaders to share their knowledge, experience, and ideas. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our sponsor and collaborator, UNDP and Danone Indonesia. Before we delve deeper into our discussions, let's get a glimpse of our rundown for us today. Today's webinar is divided into several engaging sessions, each designed to provide you with valuable insights and perspectives on sustainable water development. Here's a brief overview of our agenda. There is an opening outline, welcoming speech, keynote speech, presentation by panelists, Q&A session, general information of the Bali Youth Plan, and lastly, please stay with us until the end of the event as we have some exciting announcement of 300 Young Water Sustainability Leaders Awardees. We encourage you to actively participate by submitting your questions during the Q&A session. Simply use the chat or Q&A feature to engage with our esteemed panelists. The best questions get a chance to have special merch of 10 World Water Forum. To officially open today's webinar, I would like to invite Director of 10 World Water Forum, Ms. Yoon Jin Kim, to deliver welcoming speech. To Ms. Yoon Jin Kim, the screen and time are yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and young leaders from around the globe. Imagine a world where every drop of water tells a story of life, of struggle, and sometimes of a hope. Today, as we stand at the precipice of change, you, the young leaders gathered here, you are the authors of a new chapter in this story. So welcome to the Young Leaders Summit on Water Sustainability, an integral process of the 10th World Water Forum, where we unite under the banner of towards goal of a global water security, which is a critical link to lasting peace. In your hands, you hold the pen that you can rewrite our future relationship with water. Of course, your voice also can bring our ideas to be expressed and conveyed to the broader world. It is a future where technology dances with nature, where policy is sculptured by the hands of the young, and where every action we take echoes through the vein of the planet. That will ensure not just a survival, but a thriving existence of every community across the globe. Today, we're not just talking about the water, we're reimagining and re-envisioning it as a lifeblood of peace, prosperity, and sustainability. In a world where the rhythm of nature is increasingly disrupted by human activities, water security has emerged as one of the most pressing challenges of our time. It is a challenge that transcends borders. and sometimes requiring a global responses and a collective actions of nations, community, and individuals all together. And it is here at the summit that such a response begins with you, the young leaders, innovators, and visionary of our time. The summit offers a unique platform, I believe, for the dialogues, learning, and collaborations. Having youth as equal stakeholders in thematic and regional as well as political process in the 10th World Water Forum, with around 300 programs will be held during a week. We expect more than 300 young people as well to attend the forum in Bali next month, and we'll invite you to share your ideas, experiences, and also aspirations to influence change. Through the session participation, sometimes panel discussion and networking with different organizations and individuals, you will explore intricacies of water management, the innovations in sustainable water technologies, and the critical importance of the international cooperation on water. As the three pillars of the World Water Forum in the month, we have made a more than 1.5-year process to build our concept and milestone processes, and now we are developing a concrete outcomes and initiatives under 120 programs under 30 topics and 6 sub-themes in thematic process. 40 programs around dealing with local and regional solutions to particular challenges of 4 different regions of the world that includes Asia Pacific, Americas, Mediterranean, and Africa. We also have 5 different segments based on the political actor groups categorized in head of states, ministerial, parliamentarian, local and regional authorities, and basin authorities, which will be running for tangible outcomes to be committed to take an action that is also expected to be followed by policy changes and providing necessary advocacies. Along with these programs, the Bali Youth Plan, which is a co-coordinated efforts by the World Water Council and the National Committee of the Indonesian government. The plan currently has working group capacity of 26 organizations who are involved in a youth engagement process. These efforts are the lead at the Bali Youth Plan towards and beyond the 10th World Water Forum in order to have continuity in youth engagement of water. The agenda for the youth space will be updated on the website by next week or the coming weeks, and it will be a good platform to have youth across the world participants. In closing, let us remember that the quest of the global water security is not just about managing a resource, it's about ensuring a just and equitable world where every community has access to clean water, where every ecosystem thrives, and where every action we take contributes to lasting peace. Thank you for being here on the way to pave our path towards World Water Forum process, and hope to see you in Bali. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hyunjin Kim, for the warm welcoming speech. Hereafter, I would like to invite Minister of Public Works and Housing, Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Basuki Hadi Mulyono, to deliver keynote speech for this webinar. To Mr. Basuki Hadi Mulyono, the screen and time are yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good afternoon for all of us. First of all, I'd like to say hi to Your Excellencies, Miss Hyunjin Kim from the World Water Council, Professor Ayana from IHA Delft, Mrs. Mary Matthews, UNDP, Excellencies Mr. De Jong from the World Bank, Mrs. Ratih Anggraini from Danone Indonesia, Ms. Chandra Sutama, ECADIN, my friends, Miss Karisma, the young delegates of Water Council, also Neil Andika, the focal point for the 10 World Water Forum and the coordinator of the Young Water Sustainability Leaders Program, and all distinguished experts, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, 22nd of March, where all the water family around the world celebrate the World Water Day. Okay, to maintain the spirit of us in maintaining the water resources. Unfortunately, nowadays the water resources facing very high pressure, not only because of the population growth, but also uncontrolled development as well as climate change. That's why we more too familiar with the problem: too little, too much, and too dirty water. I like to show some event because of that too little, too much, and too dirty water in Indonesia. It is a shame for me to show this, but I understand that this problem is also facing by all over the world. Even in America, in Europe, in the developed countries, also still have the flood. Too much water causing floods in Indonesia. This is one flood that happened in Central Java. And yesterday, I just accompanied the president of Indonesia, Mr. Jokowi, to visit the refugees of the flood of in Central Java. Okay? The Central Java flood causing 1,000 of refugees, and because of the high of the water, more than 2 meters. But within the 5 days, all the brick of the levee is already been fixed up, and we hope that during this week to go, the flood water will always decrease. This too much water, too little water. Too little water, we just experiencing the El Nino. Okay, the long duration of El Nino in Indonesia. Okay, this very, very dry season in Indonesia, and causing the need of water supply all around Indonesia, I think, especially in Java, where the 60% of the population of Indonesia is in Java Island. Okay, those not only the water availability in the quantity, but also too dirty water, causing the quality, decreasing the quality of water in Indonesia. This is the postpart already been the Bekasi River in West Java. This too little, too much, and also too dirty water already causing the decrease of food in Indonesia. This is also we see in the decreasing in the food production and causing the import of more rice to Indonesia. Okay, it is very dangerous for Indonesia if we have a problem in food production, because it can produce political problem. Okay, that's why I agree with the World Water Forum, World Water Council, that water is politics. See, this is some demonstration that stop import food, but they don't know that all over in all over the world because of the climate change. The food production is now reducing. That's why all the producing country like Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia already stopped to export because they are maintaining the production for their own food. In this case, I really would like to give the highly appreciation and congratulation to the organizer and collaboration of this Youth National Organizing Community of the 10 Water Forum, the young generation of Ministry of Public Works and Housing, the ECADIN, UNDP, Danon, who has already conducting this high-level webinar that will discuss everything about water, not only to celebrate the World Water Day this year, but also to come to this 10 World Water Forum in Bali. One of the most significant booster in facing in coping with these water resources is to implement the integrated water resources management. And one of the booster is the human resources, particularly to the young generation. The development of young generation will enhance their ability to contribute through various innovation and technologies. It can lead to the more effective, efficient, and adaptive solution to the water challenges. Furthermore, sharing knowledge with expert academicians, policymakers, and practitioners enhances the younger generation competence. I agree with Ms. Yoon Jin that the young generation will be the leader of the water resources management in order to keep the sustainability of water resources. Ladies and gentlemen, on May 18 to 25th of May 24, the 10 World Water Forum 24 will be held in Bali, Indonesia, with the theme of Water for Shared Prosperity to address all the current and potential water challenges, such as I told you before. The forum brings together participants from all levels and regions, including politics, multilaterals, institutions, academia, civil society, and the private sector. Today, this Saturday, the president of World Water Council will land in Indonesia, and we will have a very tight schedule for us, for the president of World Water Council to meet the chairman of the Parliament of Indonesia, several ministers, including Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister for Home Affairs, and others to prepare more detail for the World Water Forum 10 in Bali this coming May. This coming May, in the 18th of May, is no more than 2 months since now. Okay, so that's why we have to keep pace with this preparation. The upcoming World Water Forum in 2024 is an excellent opportunity for the young generation to discuss and exchange knowledge with various stakeholders from different countries, thereby for seeking strategic and implementable solutions to address various challenges and potentials in the field of water resources. These efforts are substantial to realize a shared prosperity and bring peace through water resources. In this occasion, I personally would like to extend an invitation to all, especially the younger generation, to take active participation in this forum. The Young Water Sustainability Leaders, YWSL, is a series of activities organized in anticipation of the 10 World Water Forum. These young water sustainability leaders activities kick off with an online bootcamp involving 300 youth participants across the world. These young water sustainability leaders will come to a close with the selection of winners who will become delegates at the 10th World Water Forum in Bali. This event is a prime example for capacity building program that very beneficial for young water professionals. It provides a platform for future leaders to address various water resources, challenges, and deeply discuss with experts. I hope this initiative will contribute to developing a skilled and a responsive generation of young leaders in the field of water resources. In addition, I wish you all the best in participating in the Young Water Sustainability Leaders Bootcamp with a theme toward global water security, a critical link to lasting peace. Congratulations and see you all in Bali, May 2024. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Basuki, for the keynote speech. Before we jump into the panel session, we invite Mr. Basuki once more and all the panelists to join the photo session, and please open your camera. The committee will help us to spotlight all the panelists and take some shots. All right, and 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Maybe once more. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. Once more. 1, 2, and 3. All set, committee? All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I also would like to inform all participants that the attendance link will be provided by the committee at the end of the event via the chat column. And don't forget to use the virtual background, which will also be provided by the committee in the chat column. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's dive into our webinar session. It is my pleasure to welcome our moderator, Sabrina Farah Salsabila. She is one of our best young generation in water sector. She is now working as Water Expert Support Office in Nuffic, Southeast Asia, and she is also Chief Marketing Officer at Reservoir. To Ms. Salsa, all set?
Yes, thank you, Mas Hero. Can you hear me well?
Yes, clear.
Okay,
All right,
yes.
the screen are yours.
Yes, thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone in Indonesia. Maybe good morning and good evening from another time zone. Thank you, Mas Hero, for conducting the first part of the webinar, this YWSL Summit. So welcome to the Young Water Sustainability Leaders 2024 Summit, where we will celebrate this World Water Day 2024 by discussing with our high-level speakers for today, and also we will continue by the announcement of 300 selected participants. And as Mas Heru mentioned before, that I will be the moderator. My name is Sabrina, and I'm currently working also in Nuffic Southeast Asia. I invite you guys to join me in these insightful panels where we will meet all distinguished experts to which we will bring also the diverse perspectives on water and sustainability. So our main theme for today's summit is towards global water security, a critical link to lasting peace. And I think it's also closely linked to this theme, the theme of the day. It is water for peace. We have already 5 panelists here, and each of them will have 10 minutes presentations based on their expertise. And after that, after the presentation, we will continue with discussions. And if there's any time left, maybe we will have a Q&A, maybe 1 or 2 questions from the participants. And I will introduce each panelist before their presentation. So let's start. I will start with our first panelist, Mary Matthews from UNDP. Hello, Mary. How are you?
Hi, great to see you, and thank you so much for having us
Yeah.
today.
Yes. Is it morning in your time or afternoon?
It's morning in
Morning.
Istanbul. Yeah.
Okay. So good morning, Mary.
Good
Okay, maybe
afternoon.
I will read a bit about your CV and all maybe the your experiences. So Mary has her PhD and has been working in water fields since 1995. I wasn't even born at the time. And she was trained as social scientist with a background in ecology. Also, she has been active in academia, the public sector, and also private sector as an advocate for innovations and multi-stakeholder engagement, especially in the environmental and water management. Mary is currently a lead water and ocean advisor or an ocean innovation challenge manager. And also she has been working for UNDP for more than 7 years. So I think, Mary, I will give the time, 10 minutes for your presentations. And we would like to hear how to empower communities and also to contribute to this to the The time is yours, Mary.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. And thank you, Your Excellency, fellow panelists, organizers, and especially our participants, the young water sustainability leaders. Without you, we can't do this, and we really need your help. And one of the issues when it comes to water sustainability and water security that I've often come across is people say, well, we live on the blue planet, there's plenty of water, what's the problem? And to that, I often respond that when it comes down to it, there is a huge amount of water on the planet. 72% of the surface is covered by water. But when we get to the amount of water that's actually fresh water, so water we can drink, water we can use on our crops, water for agriculture and for municipal use, once we actually look at how much we have there, instead of thinking we have all of the water in the world, of all the water, once you narrow down to water that's immediately available on surface and as immediately available groundwater, those numbers really diminish. That's about 0.03% of all the water in the world. If you're in, and that's a hard number to get a grasp on. So if you think of all the water in the world being your entire body, the amount that would fill your thumb is 0.03%. And that's what we have for all agriculture, industry, municipal, and terrestrial water needs on land for ecology. That's a really finite amount. That's how much was available 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, give or take a little. It's not a lot, and the demands are increasing so much. So when we look at water as a global development priority, we really need to think about water as it fits into sustainable development. For example, when we think of water security, 72% of water withdrawals from the natural system are for agriculture. 30% of food is wasted, which means we lose about 25% of our available water to food waste. We need to do better. With regards to climate change, 80% of climate change impacts are water related. And when it comes to water scarcity, 1 in 4 people on our planet do not have reliable access to clean water to drink. And within that, 80% of water that's discharged in the world is untreated, making the water quality so poor that it can't be used. We are overwhelmingly impacting poor communities, marginalized groups, and especially women who are carrying water in communities where water is not immediately accessible. And at the same time, we've had a collapse of our freshwater ecosystems. We have to do better and we have to fix this. The way UNDP can do this is as a force for change. UNDP works globally to address water issues, bringing stakeholders together at all levels. We are working on the transboundary level. We're working with local communities. We work with governments. We work with everyone in between. And UNDP really plays an important role in pulling all of these together to help us to work together. But we can't just do it by bringing people together. We have to look for the positive wins, what we can do that can really make a big difference. So looking at how we can manage water sustainably, how we can build climate resilient water infrastructure using nature-based solutions often, because when it comes down to it, Mother Nature is the best water engineer we have. We need to learn from Mother Nature to best manage our water resources, including floodplain management, including constructed wetlands for wastewater treatment. There's so many wonderful opportunities, and we need to be harvesting those and replicating those, and we're doing our very best to do that. And of course, we have to be gender responsive in everything we do. But we also have to be empowered. We need to start shifting our narrative, moving away from we're going to save the world to focus on how we can actually support communities to help themselves. Because when it comes down to it, water is a global issue, but water is also a local issue, and communities often have the greatest needs, but also the best solutions. And we need to help support our innovators and communities who are innovating to not only do what they're doing and doing it well, but to scale that up and to be able to replicate that all over the world. And of course, we can't do that if we don't include our younger minds who actually are seeing things in a way that honestly, my generation and generations before me were not able to see these. It's been a definite challenge, and it's something that we all have to work on together. We all have a role to play, and we all have amazing potential if we can start working together more and more, and through the World Water Forum, through the UN agencies, through the private sector, through education. There's so much potential, so much possibility that it's really exciting to see this moving forward. What we have to do is a call to action. We need to stress that water conservation and responsible water management can start with a simple actions in local communities, in schools, in building policy support at the local levels, working with regional levels and national levels and international levels. And UNDP is really excited to know what we can do, how we can help and continue to take a leadership role in helping this to happen from the very small level to the national and the global level. Please explore UNDP's webpage on water to examine our work and learn more. And we look forward, really are so excited to learn more from our young minds and the innovators who have such great promise and such great hope, because my generation is getting a bit older, but we know that we have some amazing, bright young minds, and we look forward to the Young Leadership Conference to really help bring that forward. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Mary. I really like how you start with that. We should realize that this quantity of water, it's not so much, that's the water that we can immediately use. So that Mary also mentioned about how water linked with all the SDGs, not just this SDG 6, but also with all. And we have also to be gender responsive for solving these water issues. And thank you so much, Mary. We will continue with the discussion later. I will call for the
Absolutely.
second panelist, Mr. IJsbrand de Jong from World Bank. Yes.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you,
Hello.
Pawazuki.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
Yes, good afternoon or morning in your time. I think it's
I'm in Jakarta, so it's afternoon.
you're in Jakarta. Okay, so we are in the same time zone. So good afternoon. So I will introduce a bit about yourself. So Mr. De Jong is lead water resource specialist working for the World Bank. And are you based in India, right?
I'm based in Indonesia.
Oh, Indonesia right now. Okay, so she has been joining the bank since 2000, and also he has held various positions of increasing responsibilities in Africa, Central Asia, and also in the South Asia regions. And since 2013, Mr. De Jong also has taken up a field assignment, first based in the Almaty Regional Office, and also since 2016 in the New Delhi Country Office, and now currently in Indonesia. So, Mr. De Jong, maybe I will start with the question that the World Bank plays a crucial role in the global water projects. And maybe can you share some examples of your work in promoting this water security? So the time is yours, Mr. De Jong.
Thank you, Sabrina, and I will definitely do that, but not without thanking the organizers for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very privileged to be part of this, and I'm also very happy that the organizers apparently find me young enough to be part of this event. World Bank plays an important role in water, as you mentioned, and in my presentation, I want to focus on a few ways in which the World Bank is helping countries invest in improving water security. Next slide, please. In my presentation, I want to focus first, I want to talk a little bit about the World Bank, its vision and its mission. Then I want to talk a little bit about the World Bank in Indonesia, and then more about the World Bank and water, in particular with the focus on Indonesia. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about World Bank and youth. Next slide, please. World Bank's vision is a world free of poverty on a livable planet, and the mission is to end extreme poverty and boost prosperity on a livable planet. It's interesting that on a livable planet was recently added by our new president, Mr. Ajay Banga, and that incorporates the whole discussion about sustainability. It is important not only to reduce poverty, but to do so in a sustainable manner while taking care of the planet. The World Bank is a global partner. We have 189 countries. The staff comes from 170 different countries, and we have offices in over 130 locations. The World Bank has invested over $45 billion in over 12,000 development projects since 1947. And the World Bank is actually a World Bank group. There's IBRD, that we are probably most familiar with. Then there's IDA, the International Development Association, finances projects in least developed countries. IFC is the International Finance Corporation, works with the private sector. MIGA is providing guarantees for private sector investments, and ICSID is the arbitration panel of the World Bank. Next slide, please. World Bank in Indonesia. World Bank is a proud partner of Indonesia's impressive economic growth for over six decades. The World Bank's support for Indonesia is driven by its country partnership framework that is prepared jointly with the government of Indonesia. And for the period of 21-25, the priorities include to strengthen economic competitiveness and resilience, improve infrastructure, nurture human capital, human capacities, sustaining management of natural assets, natural resource-based livelihoods, and disaster resilience. And then there are also three cross-cutting themes of digitalization, gender, and climate change. And in 2023, the investments of the World Bank in Indonesia were $3.25 billion. Next slide. A little bit about the World Bank and water. The World Bank's objective in financing water projects is to sustain water resources, to deliver services, and to build resilience. Much of what we are doing in Indonesia and in the water sector is based on a joint World Bank Bappenas Ministry of Planning report, Indonesia Vision 2045 towards water security, that was prepared in 2023. Indonesia's Vision 2045 basically aims for Indonesia to become among the top 5 global economies by 2045, 100 years after independence. And the question that the report is asking itself is can we achieve Vision 2045 without considering Indonesia's water security? And the simple short answer is, of course, no. We have to consider water security. We have to make sure that water security is helping Indonesia achieve its Vision 2045. The report identifies potential challenges and the impact of water-related threats on GDP and identifies targeted actions to move towards water security. The report can be downloaded from the Bappenas website and from the World Bank website, and I'd like to encourage you to do so. It's an important document that is very helpful for understanding the challenges and opportunities for Indonesia to improve the water security. We are also supporting the government of Indonesia in the World Water Forum, a very important event in May in Bali. We are preparing a book together with the government of Indonesia on water for shared prosperity, which is the overriding theme of the World Water Forum. We're organizing 2 high-level panel sessions. We have high-level participation from the World Bank, and we are also supporting multiple sessions on water security and water sustainability during the World Water Forum. Next slide. A few things on the World Bank and youth. I'm very happy to be part of this forum and to be speaking at this forum. We believe that youth can play a very important role moving forward as innovators, particularly in IT, remote sensing, big data, social media, advocacy. These are very important things that where the youth has a comparative advantage over the older generation. Continued focus on poverty reduction. I think there is an important poverty reduction is still an important objective of the world. Continues to be important, and it continues to require people to focus on it and to work on it. We also need to scale up the support for climate change adaptation and mitigation, and we're counting on the new generation to help us scale up those efforts. We want to focus also on improving public service delivery and accountability. We see that there is much more attention nowadays for public service delivery, the quality of those services. But I think the younger generation in particular, I expect that you will play a more advocacy role in further emphasizing the importance of the quality of services. In the water sector, it means 24/7 access to water and sanitation, reliable irrigation services, reliable flood management services, etc. Payment for water, I expect also that the youth can play an important role in advocating for payment for water. This is a sensitive issue, I'm very aware of that, including in Indonesia. And we boomers, we have not been able to resolve it, but I hope that the new generation can play a more important role just by recognizing that environmental sustainability requires us to value water as a scarce resource. The financial viability of service providers requires us to recover the cost of providing these services, and it is important to empower the water users to make sure that they can play a more active role and voice in a more clear way the importance of improving the quality of water services. And please stay away from ChatGPT. The World Bank is organizing a youth summit in May 2024, Powering Progress, Youth Leading in Digital Transformation. So that was something I spoke about earlier. IT is very important. We hope that the younger generation can play an important role in the digital transformation. So please join that. Please register and attend the event. It's an hybrid event, so you can join online. The World Bank needs you. Please visit our website and take a look at the careers website of the World Bank. We look forward to welcome you at some point, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ziyong. So World Bank has already so many collaborations with Indonesia. It's also aligns perfectly with Indonesian vision and mission. And actually, that's really interesting how World Bank also has involved youth and recognized the importance of youth. And they also have this upcoming Youth Summit 2024 in May. Yeah, and maybe if you are guys interested, you can also search for the informations and also attend the World Bank event. Before we go to the next panelist, so for the participants here, you can put your questions on the chat box. We have this Slido link, and so there will also be the prize for the best questions. So make sure to put your best questions there. Okay, let's go to the next panelist, Ibu Rati.
Excuse me, moderator.
Yeah.
Hello. Excuse me, my name is Basuki. To all of you, the excellencies, Professor Iona, Miss Mary Matthews, Mr. De Jong, Ibu Rate Anggraini, Ibu Chandra Sutama, Ibu Karisma, and all of you. My apology that I have to leave because I have to see the flood in just close to the airport of Jakarta, and that the flood happened since yesterday, so I have to go there to fix up the flood. Again, thank you very much for all the young generation, the youth, water sustainability leaders, and all the sponsor, ECADIN and others. Thank you very much for this high-level webinar, and also the older generation always work together with young generation. Again, thank you very much, and see you all in Bali. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Basuki. Thank you, Pak. Yes. Okay, we will continue to Bu Ratih. Selamat pagi, Bu Ratih. Good morning.
Selamat siang, good afternoon,
Oh iya,
good
selamat
morning.
siang. Good afternoon. Yeah, Bu Ratih, so I will introduce a bit about yourself. So you are a head of climate and water stewardship at Danone. And Bu Ratih also experienced as a sustainability manager with a demonstrated history working in customer good industry. And also she is very skilled in sustainable development, corporate social responsibility, environmental awareness, community development, and also water management and circular economy topics. So Bu Ratih, maybe I will start also with questions that we know that water is very fundamental for public health. And maybe how can we explain how can we ensure that water management practice contribute to the well-being of the communities? So Bu Ratih, the time is yours.
Okay, so hello to Your Excellency, panelists, and then also organizer and the young leaders. I'm very honored, I think, to be part of this young leaders summit. Hopefully, I'm still considered as part of it. So maybe I will just go share my screen here. Okay, so can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. I just go quickly to introduce a bit about Danone. So in Danone itself, health is always becoming our North Star as a company, because since more than 100 years ago, when Danone is actually founded by our founder, Isaac Caruso, actually he is producing yogurt to address the intestinal disorders within children at that time. So this is the product is actually made to address health issue. A similar situation in Indonesia when on 1954 and also 1973, when Sari Husada, at that time is called as NV Sari Delay, was established to address the nutritional deficiencies, protein to be precise, by government of Indonesia and also UNICEF at that time. And then on Aqua itself, as maybe some of us already know, it's the pioneer of the bottled water, where at that time to get access to safe drinking water is quite difficult, especially if you are mobile. So we are the pioneer to produce these products. And actually, despite so many changes in terms of lifestyle and then taste that being evolved, we are still true to our commitment that we only produce the healthy focus product portfolio. And this is the product that Danone has across the globe. And actually, last year, we want to strengthen our what we call now as a mission, which is bringing health through food to as many people as possible by establishing what we call as a Danone Impact Journey. So this Danone Impact Journey is actually a concrete roadmap for us, so we can able to really enhance the nutritional and health impact through our products, but then also preserving the nature as well as thriving the communities. So the question is why nature is becoming one of the main focus from Danone, especially in this Danone Impact Journey, is because at the end of the day, we realize that food play a critical role to the environmental or the nature sustainability, both as a threat and also as a solution. And we really want to be part of this solution. So we want to bring food, we want to produce food that is going to be able to be a solution for us to have a more sustainable planet, because we know there's an issue in climate change, in terms of water as well, and also in terms of waste. And we know that actually food and then agriculture industry is actually contributing 1/3 of total greenhouse gas emission across the globe. So this is why we really take part on this aspect, which is preserve and regenerate nature. So here I will be focusing more in terms of water resource. In Danone itself, as a company, as a business, we believe that we need to start from ourselves. So this is becoming the first, let's say, a sub-pillar of our effort to preserve the nature, where we really want to ensure that water is really being utilized, circulated as optimum as possible. And we always have a very ambitious target every year, including all the infrastructure we put in place to ensure that we can always reduce the water utilization. And then also the second part is that we also know that at the end of the day, we need to bring impact not only for the sake of the business continuity, but mostly to the people surrounding us in our watershed and also the ecosystem itself. And this is becoming our second sub-pillar, where we are committing to preserve all the watershed where we actually operate. So they are able to be restored, and then they can sustain the water resources within this area. And then the third sub-pillar will be focusing in our supply chain, because also it's not always about the watershed where the factory located, but also the watershed where our key commodities actually coming from. Because as a Danone, we have using many natural commodities like fruits, nuts, those kind of things. So this is something that we really want to focus on. This is just some of the examples that we've been doing in terms of reduce, reuse, recycle water project within the factory, and also the reclaim project within our factory that's happening across the globe. And this is not only giving positive impact to the operational of our facility, but also giving impact to the surrounding of our facility. As you can see, there's a water that being repurposed for different use, like irrigation and street cleaning, and then also tree planting. The second part is actually the water preservation in our watershed. So this is becoming our focus, and hopefully not only us, but also all water users, especially industry or business, that we need to start really taking care of our watershed where we operate. Again, maybe this is the example that I bring from different countries across the globe, because we have also similar initiative in France, where we also involved in the water governance, and then also regenerative agriculture, especially on the dairy farming. And then also in Mexico, where we really help the farmers to be able to reduce the water use in their agriculture by implementing the intermittent irrigation. That's for an example. And then for the next one, I would like to proudly bring the example of Danone in Indonesia, because in Danone itself, Indonesia has shown to be leading in terms of watershed preservation. This is how we are doing the initiative. So we need to always ensure that all our activities is planned based on a research result that is led to water stewardship design. So we have a different type of study that we do in first place. So then we can ensure that we will address with the right activity. So like, for example, after we do this hydrogeology study and then the groundwater mapping, etc., and then what we are doing next is that we were able to locate where is the upstream of that watershed. And then what we are doing is then doing different type of water conservation, both on vegetation or vegetative conservation like tree planting. But not only that, also the artificial recharge like infiltration well and then also water pond. And also because we want to ensure that the ecosystem will continue to be stable, we also want to we establish a biodiversity park almost in every factory where we locate in. So at the moment, there are already 20 biodiversity park. The minimum is around 3 hectares. So in this biodiversity park, we really protect and also enrich the biodiversity index, and then also the diversity itself of the flora and the fauna. And then not only that, because at the end, in surrounding our factory, we also have a lot of agricultural field. But then also the other fact that water in Indonesia is around 70% is actually used for agriculture purpose. And at the same time, we know that agriculture practice in Indonesia is very much high intensive in terms of chemicals, both pesticide and also fertilizer. So what we are doing is then working with the farmers to implement a regenerative agriculture. So this is what we introduce both at the upstream, especially on the agroforestry field, and also on the paddy agriculture in the downstream. And not to mention also, of course, to improve the irrigation, and then also to introduce what we call the intermittent irrigation, because very often the issue with water, the water conflict, is started by the unequal distribution of water. And because last World Water Day was actually, the theme is about water for peace, and that reminds me that sometimes the solution can be quite technical. Then how we can ensure that the water is distributed evenly, so everybody eventually able to get the water and not using it excessively. So this is one of the practice that we introduce. The last one is, I think, it's aligned with the SDGs number 6 and also on the water for prosperity, is that we want to ensure that our effort to bring positive impact to the water resource, water set, is also going to impact the community, especially those who's having difficulty on access. And we do a different initiative, not only with the community, NGOs, university, but also we implement the water credit that we are working on also with water.org NGO, and then also the Ministry of Public Work. And then we also implement right now the safe drinking water, where we actually providing a water filter for area where they actually have difficult access to drinking water. And then maybe I just want to add that actually globally, we also have a commitment to provide safe drinking water to more than 20 million people by 2025. And this is what we are doing globally through a social business incubation. And we're really exploring to be able to see whether we can support more people with safe drinking water access also in Indonesia. This is just illustration on how we do the integrated water management aspect from upstream to downstream, and also a different type of initiative within those watershed. I'm taking the example also on this is if previously it was in Cisadane Hulu watershed, which is actually in the West Java, and this one is actually in Rejoso in East Java, where we do a different type of initiative on the upstream, midstream, and downstream, and actually it's also giving not only higher productivity for the farmers, but also up to 30% higher income for them. So this water conservation, when it is done right, actually, technically, it can also boost the productivity of the plantation surrounding the area. For example, if you build trenches among the fruit trees, for example. So these are just some of illustration, and on top of the initiative, of course, what we do is also to do cross or multi-stakeholder collaboration on different aspects. Like, for example, on the establishment of the watershed forum itself, because this is quite key to animate the integrated water resource management. And then also to introduce the green financing, I will explain later. And then also to educate the communities and also the children on water topic. So this is one of the collaborative actions that we are really involving in, because we believe that at the end, we cannot do this solution alone. So there's supposed to be a collaborative action from all water users, not to mention the industries, of course. So what we're doing is that in the watershed where we are actually operating, we are having to strengthen the watershed forum through different capacity building, and then also implement what is called as the payment for environmental services scheme, which is a green financing, another type of green financing. That is actually, this type of PES scheme is not only going to be able to help us to infiltrate more water, but actually it will help to increase the income or the economic condition of the farmers on the upstream. Because if you see, there are many questions from people living in the upstream, like why we need to take care of the water, because they are not the one who's actually really have to using the water. But then this is one of the solutions. So we can ensure the sustainability of the different type of water conservation that we are doing. And then secondly, it also giving financial incentive to the farmers. So at the end, water can really contribute to a shared prosperity. So this is one of the example that we are putting here. And also Danone, as part of Indonesia Water Coalition, will continue to advocate on this water security in Indonesia. And then the next part is that to really be able to measure where we are right now, because we say, maybe I say often that we want to give back more water to the ecosystem and the communities. We also adopting the international standard. Here you can see this also from WRI, Quantis, that actually the volumetric water benefit accounting, where we can know how much water that we have returned. And by then we know that actually whether we have given more or we still need to do, we need to go beyond than what we've been doing right now. And also at the moment, we also work with our partner to measure the carbon impact. So we are able to register it in the Ministry of Environment and Forestry registration system. So it's going to be able to also contribute to Indonesia NDC. So the last thing is on the education, because we believe that the water is actually not the legacy to younger generation, but this is actually belong to the younger generation. That is at the moment, it is given to us to take care of it at the moment. So what we want to do then is actually to ensure that the younger generation well aware of their rights and also their obligation on water security. So we established a water educational model that we built with University of Indonesia, and hopefully going to be useful also for many different schools and students across Indonesia. Okay, so maybe before I was also mentioning about water preservation in our supply chain. This is just one of the example what we are doing in strawberry farming as part of our key commodity as a plant-based, and also milk, and then also in our milk supply chain in Morocco. So maybe that's a bit from our side. The last one is, I think, about addressing climate change, because at the end of the day, we cannot really disengage this topic from the climate change itself, and also the water pollution that happening or caused by the plastic waste. And this is all that we've been doing so far and becoming the commitment, not only in Indonesia, but also globally. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Burati, for the comprehensive presentation. So maybe I highlight a little bit the points that Danone focus on a healthy, focused product, and also it has Danone impact journey. And I think the plan is very comprehensive, but also the nature, people, and also communities. They also have programs like water security, water preservation, and I also really like that there's so many design that's research based. So I think it's very related with our next panelist from academics. We will the discussion session berarti. I will also now continue with the fourth panelist, Prof. Yona Popescu from IHE Delft. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning. Yeah,
Good
so
morning,
she's actually
everyone.
good morning everyone. So she's actually my lecturers back then in IHE Delft. So and also she has just been appointed as professor. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. How are you? Yeah.
All good.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to this
Yes.
presentation and to the discussions afterwards.
Okay, yes. So, Prof. Yona focused on the computational methods, also aspects of flood modeling, and also vulnerability related to floods, lake, and also reservoir modeling, and also water supply systems modeling and optimizations. She is particularly interested in integrating mathematical models into decision support systems. It sounds a little bit technical, but let's see. You can start now, Prof. Yona. The time is yours.
Yes, thank you. You will. Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, honored guests, dear participants. I'm really honored to address the youth for solving water issues in a sustainable way through technology using innovative solutions. So I will emphasize what was said by Mr. De Jong here. So I was really very glad to hear that all ICT related things and digital transformation is on the agenda of the World Bank. And also thank you organizers for inviting me. We can go for the next slide, please. Yes, I will not insist on the water and the pressures on water resources, consequences of climate change, as they have been presented here, and we are all aware of it. But what is very important for us all is the need for conservation and sustainability of these water resources and for better information and prediction. And in order to do that, to have better information and prediction, I'm coming, as Sabrina was presenting, from the side of technology and how to take advantage of technology, especially because the youth are having now all the skills and ability to use these technologies and the wealth of data that exists currently. Can you go, please, to the next slide? So in order to do better predictions, to understand and manage water resources, it is very difficult to test things on a large-scale experiment. So the best way to address this is to look at computer-based modeling, to look at optimal solution using computers. And the advantage of this is that we can test many solutions, many scenarios, and see which one is the best, especially nowadays when there is no one technical solution that is best, when we need to involve stakeholders and to understand their needs and to analyze in discussions with them what would be the best decision to be taken. So that is done based on data, on information from various sourcing. And I cannot stress enough that we really need IT, information and communication technologies to do computer-based modeling to manage our water. Please go to the next slide. And the solution that we are looking at is what we call here at IHE and what is known as hydroinformatics, where we use modeling, information and communication technology to solve the problems of aquatic environment with a purpose of proper management. And actually what we are really looking is to the flow of information from data to decisions and going through models and learning from models. Nowadays, there are a lot of Earth observation, monitoring, and when we deal with data from sensor networks, from remote sensing, as it was mentioned, from historical records and in situ, and there are so many types of data, diverse data model, that it needs a lot of work in standardization. It needs work to go from data poor to data rich environment. And then if we go on to the models, they are really application specific and they need application specific expertise. There are generic modeling issues if we look at models like calibration, sensitivity and uncertainty analysis, coupling of models, that are driven from data and that require a lot of computational power. So we are thinking of high performance computing, but all this is done with the main objective of having a decision support system that we will be able to give solutions when we have multiple objectives, like doing optimization, multi-criteria analysis, and very important, when we have many stakeholders, we really need to do collaborative modeling and decision making. So none of the things nowadays can be done by a technician, by some experts just in water. We really need to look at all the needs of the stakeholders. And if I look to technologies and decision support system, nowadays there is a lot of web and mobile phone application and citizens observatories, I will show you in a moment, that can be used for developing decision support systems. So that requires, shows us that actually there is a mix of social and technical data that we are looking at. So can you please go to the next slide? So I'm coming to from data to decision support, and then decisions are taken effectively if decision makers seek reliable information, if they also acknowledge the incompleteness of information and look how this information can be filled in, but very important, they respect the opinions of the stakeholders. And this is something that the use will be, with the technology available, they should be easily flexible to incorporate. They should use these innovative solutions. And after a decision is taken, the consequences of these possible decisions can be taken with models. And several alternatives can be generated and needs to be assessed. But what I want to convey to the youth is that there are no tools that make decisions. So they can support you, they can bring a lot of data, but it's in the end the human who takes decision. It's a human expert who needs to take the decision, and that is very good. So IT is very good, digital transformation is very good, digital twins as we are promoting nowadays, but in the end, the one that takes the decision is very important. Can you please go to the next slide? So I want to show just few of examples, like, for example, phones can be used for water and environment, because phones nowadays can collect rainfall, can show the water quality, can collect the land use, can measure the water level or velocities. And the advantage of using the phones, not only for discussing or for messaging, is that it creates also awareness. Citizens who are collecting data through their phones, they will start understanding why is water important, why they collect this data. So it's not only technology for the use of models and creating decisions, but it's also for creating awareness within the larger communities. Can you please go to next slide? Actually, what you were seeing as photos in the previous slide were names of projects where we were testing the phone technologies and how can they be used for measuring and for informing citizens. Even the ones that are using water for agriculture can be informed of the types of crops that they can use. And you have a list of projects here. I can talk at the length of it, but it's not the purpose. I will be glad to answer any of these of your questions about how to use phones for collecting data. Can you please go to the next slide? But the question is why to involve citizens as sensors? As I mentioned, it's really for all creating awareness, but it has a big advantage of creating data abundant and low cost data that will contribute to sustainable development, because the data that we have through traditional methods require complex instrumentation and high cost, and we cannot deploy sensors everywhere. They are too costly and they can be lost. So this is one of the reasons why citizens are involved at sensors, not only for awareness. Can you please go to the next slide? So what I want to give you as a last slide is some thoughts. It's that technology is always here to support us as water professionals, and young generation should embrace it, should be curious, because technology always advances very quickly. And we need to adapt to the new technologies, but so does our ability to do more and involve more communities as new technologies are appearing, and always be prepared to learn something new. So thank you. That was it, my last slide, and thank you.
Yes, thank you, Prof. Yana. I really like that you mentioned data is very important, and from data we can have models, knowledge, and decisions. And we have to know that the tools only supports the decisions. It's not making the decisions itself. So thank you, Prof. Yana. We will continue in the discussions. Let's continue with our fifth panelist, Ibu Chandra Sutama, as Chief Operating Officer at ECADIN. Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, Bu Chandra.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
So I will introduce a bit about yourself. So Bu Chandra is an energy professional with over 20 years of multidisciplinary international experiences. She is also currently COO at ECADIN, Energy Academy Indonesia. Maybe I'll explain a bit about ECADIN too, that ECADIN is expert knowledge and talent hub in energy sector and sustainability concern. Also, they support enterprises, organizations to accelerate green transformations by advocacy, connecting expertise, knowledge, business actors, and financing means. So maybe Bu Chandra here will more also discuss demands and how can we achieve the water security. Well, also Bu Chandra, the time is yours.
Terima kasih, Mbak Sabrina. Good afternoon again, good morning and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I'm really honored to be here today with you. My name is Chandra. I'm the CEO of ECADIN, Energy Academy Indonesia. Can you go to the next slide, please? So as Sabrina has mentioned before, we are a not-for-profit center of knowledge, talent, and expertise. Our mission is to create a greener future by accelerating energy transition and promoting a just sustainable growth. Our expert network and partners are spread across the globe with high expertise in various technology and fields, starting from solar, hydropower, carbon capture and storage, hydrogen to industry decarbonization, energy business. We are supporting government and various organizations to forge green transitions by advocacy, connecting expertise, knowledge, business actors, and financing means. We are proud that we have been supporting World Water Forum for several years now. Next slide, please. So today I will be talking about how sustainable energy can enhance water security. We will go through the energy-water nexus, how energy consumes water, and vice versa, how water consumes energy. Then we will see cases on integrating sustainable energy into water management and how we can move forward together. Next slide. So energy needs water. Water needs energy. And these linkages have enormous significance for economic growth, for life, and for well-being, as we have seen previously. Water is essential for all phases of energy production, from fossil fuels production, biofuels plantation and production, and also the operation of power plants, particularly in the cooling process. The opposite is also true. Energy use is vital for a range of water processes, including water distribution, extraction, wastewater treatment, and also desalination. Therefore, Almost all the weaknesses in the global energy system, whether it's related to energy access, energy security, or response to climate change, can be exacerbated by changes in water availability. And the opposite is true as well. Almost all the fault lines in the global water supply can be widened by failures on the energy side. So this is the energy-water nexus. Let's go to the next slide. So energy is thirsty. This is the term that World Bank is using. It needs a lot of water. Roughly 10% of the total global freshwater withdrawal is used for energy. And this is true for several years, actually. Climate change will only aggravate water stresses, as we have seen in the previous presentations, and this will threaten both water and energy security. And those are so interdependent that we cannot separate them. So for example, just last year, 11 hydropower plants in Vietnam were shut down due to the lack of water that was taking 5 gigawatts off the grid in Vietnam. That was just last year. And in 2020, drought, the low level of water in the river, have provoked shutdown of 2 nuclear reactors in Chooz power plant in France. That now the government is encouraging to put an emergency system. What if that happened again? Those are just 2 examples of many that you can find. So which energy technology actually consumes more water? Because low carbon technology does not always mean lower water. Some technologies such as wind and solar PV require very little water, but biofuel production consume very large amount of water, particularly because you need to plant them. And nuclear carbon capture and storage, concentrating solar power also require water almost as much as fossil fuel production. So you can see here is a very kind of very visual for you to see the comparison. Therefore, decarbonization pathway relying on specific water-heavy technology can worsen water stress, or the development of those specific technology can be severely limited by water stress. To the next slide, please. Nevertheless, it is clear that moving to clean energy will help to preserve water. International Energy Agency, IEA, has shown that if the world moves as in the current state policy, they call it STEPS, water, which is basically barely any change, minimum change, water withdrawal will continue to rise in 2030. However, if we move following net zero scenario by 2050, water withdrawal by energy sector will decrease by 15% in 2030. The decrease is primarily driven by the transition from coal to solar PV and wind. Then by that, it will compensate even the increase in nuclear and bioenergy use. As you can see here, you see the energy consumption in 2021 by water, and then steps 2030, which is the barely minimum change, and not zero scenario in 2050. Next. Now the global water supply also consumes energy. We need energy to extract water, to treat it to be usable, to distribute it, and in some regions' case, to desalinate. Water consumes around 4% of the global electricity consumption. In 2040, electricity consumption for water are expected to increase by 50% compared to 2020, but the distribution is very different by region. Largest increase is expected for desalination, which is removing salt from the water, representing 23% of the total energy usage for water processes, particularly in regions with high water stress, including Middle East and North Africa. We will see this in the following slides. Next slide, please. Now, the case of desalination is very interesting and intriguing. So I'm going to discuss a little bit how integrating sustainable energy into water management desalination case. Next. We know, probably you already know, that only 3% of the water on Earth is actually fresh water. The most abundant source of water is salt water, particularly seawater. Therefore, it makes sense that as the population grows and the need for fresh water increases, we strive to access the seawater as our source of water. Indeed, the largest increase of energy demand for water process will be for water desalination. It is expected to triple for 2020 to 2030. Next slide, please. In Middle East and North Africa regions, which are already water stressed, in 2030, World Bank sees that they will face water scarcity. No wonder, more than ever, they need access to processed seawater. In 2020, more than 50% of global desalination capacity is actually in Middle East. The big problem is desalination plants are notoriously energy hungry. They consume a lot of power and traditionally are run on fossil fuel because they have very easy access to fossil fuel. Currently, more than 60% of desalination plants in Middle East are thermal plants, i.e. they are using a lot of heat, a lot of power, run on fossil fuel. Membrane technology plants, including reverse osmosis, are growing, but currently also run on electricity heavy on fossil fuels. Basically, now most of the new desalination plants in Middle East are mostly reverse osmosis. So next, the good news is that the Middle East is also very rich in sunshine. Now we are seeing several solar power desalination plants there, including the Al-Khafji plant in Saudi Arabia that has capacity of more than 60,000 cubic meter per day of water, with the reverse osmosis desalination plant that is 100% powered by solar and has been operating since 2018. Other solar power plant is the Al Tawilah plant in UAE, United Arab Emirates, which is very large, probably the largest reverse osmosis desalination plant in the world, which first phase has been commercialized end of last year. They are also utilizing power from the nearby solar plant to power their operation, even though at this point it's not yet 100%. Those are very interesting examples on how renewable energy can provide sustainable solutions to water security. Next slide, please. Now we only have 10 minutes today, short to explain all of super other interesting examples on how clean energy can provide water security, but here's a few other examples. Solar water pump system to provide irrigation in drought-prone areas in Cambodia. This was a project by World Bank. And then the next one is a project in Indonesia, which was super interesting, and it was started by the president itself. The floating solar PV in Cirata, Indonesia, which is not only providing clean electricity from solar, but using the surface of existing hydropower dam and helps to reduce evaporation. And next, last example is the Kernel desalination plant that provides water to the city of Sydney, powered 100% by wind. So almost my last slide. Sailing ahead, pun intended, what we need to continue doing and develop in the future. Of course, it has been presented by Professor Yona before. Advanced monitoring and smart water management is very important to improve efficiency and reduce losses during distribution. Next is water recycling and reuse that can significantly reduce strain on freshwater resources. And last but not least important, which is raising public awareness about water conservation and sustainable practices that can lead to more responsible water use and support for sustainable water management, just like this event, which is a great example. So thank you for your time for listening to me, and I hope those are useful for you.
Yes, thank you, Bu Chandra. She starts with the explain about the energy water nexus and how our energy is thirsty, and also I think the comparison between technology and water sector for its water demands are very important. If we have time, we should really dive deep into details about that because it's very interesting. Okay, so we will continue with the discussion session. I hope that all the panelists are still here. For all participants, you can also put your questions in the Slido link. We have the one in chat. Personally, I'm also so excited that we really get different perspectives from these 5 panelists because it's really all in different fields and it's very rich, the insight. And I will also start with some follow-up questions. The first one, maybe it will be more related to to Mary and Burati. We heard a lot about the critical work happening in the community level. And maybe do you have any experiences on how important in adjusting with the local context, for example, the local language and the local culture? Yeah, I think we want to have insights on that. Maybe Mary, you can start.
Yeah, I'm happy to start. When it comes to how communities can really get involved, and help. I think one thing that's really important to realize, and this is kind of putting on my social science hat for a minute, is one of the reasons humans have done so well as a species, we've really taken over the planet, is because we learn from one another. And we learn from another very, very quickly, especially when we see someone doing something that works well. We imitate that and we repeat it. We've done that as a species everywhere. And we've got many wonderful opportunities to showcase this. For example, in rural Azerbaijan, where they were really having some issues with not having enough water for the crops, UNDP, funded by the Global Environment Facility, introduced a drip irrigation approach. Now, drip irrigation isn't necessarily that new. It's something that's been done, but it hadn't been done there in these communities in a way that really showcased the community, for the communities, how they could adopt the technology and use it themselves. We have other examples where if a community, and another irrigation example is in Senegal, there's a wonderful project that UNDP has been doing with irrigation using solar power water pumps for women's agricultural cooperatives. So to help the female farmers, the women farmers, often who don't have the same levels of access to water resources, helping them to install solar power pumps so they're not having to pay for fuel to pump the water. And they're able then to increase their crop production and their economic benefit simply by having more access to water. We have to be careful, of course, that we don't overuse our groundwater resources, and that's something that we have to be very, very careful about. And I appreciate our other panelists also being very sensitive and highlighting that. But there's so much we can learn from watching each other and learning from one another in a way that and UNDP is dedicated to kind of capturing those lessons and pushing those up and scaling them up. And we look forward to coordinating with our colleagues in the World Bank and within Delft and within Danone and everywhere to continue to do that, because that's really what we need to be doing, is not claiming, well, we're an organization and we own that. We don't own this. If we keep pretending we own these technologies and we're the only ones who can do them, my granddaughter is not going to be happy when she gets grown up. And so my job is to try to figure out how to make her life as easy as possible by helping share everything that we are doing.
Yes, thank you, Mary. So it's very important to have this learning ecosystem, and it has to be the heart of the community involvement and activities. Thank you, Mary. Maybe Bu Rati can also add more on that, because I think Danone also works in community level. And how do you adjust with the local context and, for example, with the local people and local language, for example?
Yes. Okay, thank you. In terms of adjusting with the local context, I think with the way we approach them is definitely needs to be relevant. But I think what's more crucial is if the question is about the challenge, is to have the same level of urgency and also the same level of expectation towards what we're going to do, or what kind of action that needs to take place, what kind of benefit that will be received, etc. So, but I think the first thing is about the level of urgency, because again, as I mentioned in my example during presentation, is that very often, the community or the farmer in the upstream who they are, quote unquote, supposed to take care the vegetation, for example. But in reality, it doesn't go that way. Because why? Because they need to cut the tree for fulfilling their livelihood. So, and they don't see the reason why it's becoming urgent for them to really preserve the water in that sense, because they have no issue. The one that having issue is those in the downstream and the midstream. The same issue with when we're talking about the water distribution and agriculture. When we're talking about irrigation networks, especially in Indonesia, we see that people in the upstream, they use the water as much as they like, and then later on the midstream and downstream complaining that they don't receive water and this is caused by this and that, and this kind of then the conflict arise and this kind of thing happening. So actually this kind of situation, so I think how to address this is definitely to have this awareness raising, and actually with the community is definitely how to simplify the issue, the risk, the threat that is relevant for them, so they can understand. But even actually, if we are talking about community at the bigger or the wider definition, like communities, which is including the government, the NGO, the private sectors, or the media, different type of institution. I think it's almost the same. The issue is about we don't have the same sense of urgency. So this awareness raising, it still needs to be done at different type of form. For the other type of communities beside the grassroots communities, maybe what we need to do is showing the research-based research, the study, showing what is the situation in the of the water balance, for example, in certain watershed. Is it deficit? Is it surplus? What is the threat in terms of water quality in that area? So this kind of information needs to be disseminated so everybody well aware. Then from there we can build the dialogue and then start to build the consensus about what we're going to do next. So, but I think the first thing that needs to be cracked is definitely to have the same level of urgency. And then the second one is on the expectation, because at the end, when we say shared prosperity, water should be beneficial for everyone. It's not supposed to be only, people that taking water excessively, that or for whatever is it, whatever purpose it is, but also even for those who's actually considered to be obliged to take care of the water in the upstream, they need to have some kind of social or economical impact, but actually then they realize that actually this is also going to be beneficial for them. I mean, at the end, that's how it works, because it has to be equal for everybody. Thank you.
So yeah, the step is to make sure that what they felt. Yeah. So yes. So I think can you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So for Mr. De Jong and Prof. Yona, so because there are so many research involved in your activities in the water sector. So what are your predictions for the future of the water security? Like, what emerging trends or technologies do you see, and is it promising, or how do you see it? Maybe first, Mr. De Jong.
Thank you. That's a very important question, because it will drive the future investment agenda of countries in the future policy agenda, and so to prepare a proper forecast of the evolution, the development of water use by the different users is an important piece of knowledge, and I hope that technology can help us there to get a better estimate. But what is even now, we see that in certain basins, water is already a scarce resource, and competition over the use of that water is increasing. And there is a lot of experience in these basins on how to make sure that people come together and decide on their priorities for a particular basin and how water is going to be allocated. And I think we need to learn the lessons from that. I think a number of presenters have already said that we need to learn from each other, that we need to learn from the past. This is an important piece of information a piece of experience that we can learn from. So how can we scale up the experience in working together on river basins, on water allocation, on water distribution to other places, because that will become more and more important as we move forward, as competition over water increases, as development increases, as water use, competition over water use between the different water users will increase, and as climate change will have an impact on all of that. Climate change will have an impact on the variability of rainfall and runoff in rivers, and so it will make it even more important that we come up with the right institutions and policies to make sure that water is allocated in a proper way. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. De Jong. Maybe Prof. Yona want to add on that,
Yes.
especially maybe in the academic field.
Oh, thank you very much. I could not agree more with what Mr. De Jong was specifying, that the water needs to be managed in a collaborative way and by all stakeholders. So if as it becomes scarce, the river basin authorities that goes over, in some cases, over countries. They are not confined in one country, but they are of transboundary nature, but also in one particular country, there are so many stakeholders. I think that nothing can be done without understanding the needs of everyone and do things in a collaborative manner. So whatever it is decided by the policymakers in one area, it has to be checked with the others and what is the impact on the other fields. There is no other way, only by co-designing, co-collaborating. From the perspective of academia, I think that we need to develop more and more tools that do system analysis, that look more into detail to the systems, and with all the data that is available, with a wealth of data, all the capability of building digital twins to have everything incorporated in one digital representation of the system will help understand where it is better to intervene and how to manage the water by everyone. So it's not only that. I'm also thinking in some countries, like, for example, in sub-Saharan Africa, that people are walking long distances to reach wells to have water. So we need to look at migration patterns, why and what determines to take water from one particular well and not the other, and how can we redesign these paths to reach water. So that is also very important, that looking at all these aspects. So thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Yona. Last questions. I think for Abu Chandra, it's very interesting to highlight about this cross-cutting issues between the energy and the water. I also want to know that maybe from academic experiences or maybe from your personal experiences, are there any challenges in promoting this sustainable energy practices and also as well as the water security itself?
Of course, to put it short, of course, there are a lot of challenges to implement renewable energy, particularly, for example, in the case of desalination, if access to fossil fuel is cheap because it's readily available and the country is producing it, why would they shift to other system? That means creating new plant and also creating a new system. And also solar can be going up and down because it's only available during daytime and it is not available during the night. So you need also energy storage. So it means that basically you need to create a totally new system compared to what is readily available and accessible for the country, particularly for Middle East, because they are abundant in fossil fuel. So it is a big challenge. So therefore, commitment is actually paramount to this. And it is not always there. And we need to put that into a big perspective. For example, if a country does not have the cash or does not have the fund to actually create a new desalination system compared to what is already available, then it's not possible. That's number one. We are talking about the big system. And number two, probably about smaller system. For example, the one that is like the case in Cambodia. This is not something that can be built by the community itself because it does require a lot of money. So again, commitment and helps from, again, I'm putting together from all the other panelists that we need to do it together. as the word. One country cannot do it alone, or one community cannot do it alone. I hope that answers a little bit the question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ms. Chandra. Actually, we have some questions from the Slido, but maybe we should choose one because due to of the time. We have these interesting questions. How about, yeah, okay. The question is that how can youth and women, I think I will highlight the woman, how can women contribute to maintaining the global water security? What practical steps that can be taken to enhance this global water security? I think because we mostly here are women, I will ask to Mr. De Jong because yeah, it's woman power, but we also would like to hear the perspective from men actually.
Lucky me. The first response to that question is look at your screen and see how women are empowered in this particular forum, right?
Yes.
So that's already a great asset, and I congratulate the organizers of being so mindful of gender. It's an important question, and what you see happening is that things develop. I remember that when I grew up, my mom said, women shouldn't work because, and that was my mom and not my dad. My mom was saying women shouldn't work because there should be one person who's earning money for the household, and you shouldn't be taking a place of somebody else. And that is completely a thing of the past. That is make enormous progress in accepting women in jobs in all sorts of professions and livelihoods and so that is something to look back at and to say, look at what we have achieved where we are now. Now that of course, is this the end of the story? No, definitely not. There is a lot that needs to happen still, but I think we're on the right track, and we think
Yes.
we're looking at the next generation to set the next step. This my generation grew up with what I just mentioned. We grew up with parents that were saying that. This generation has not grown up with parents that are saying that. So there is a much better, much more fertile foundation for taking the next step and scaling up gender in economic development. Thank you.
Thank you. So we need to scale up, but we also should appreciate that we are going in the right direction. Right? Okay, so because this time is short, maybe I have to wrap up the discussion. But as a closing statement, I will not make it a closing statement, but maybe I will ask for the panelists for one word. I want you to mention one word that's one value that's very important for you to contribute in the water sector. For example, maybe courage or other things. Maybe any word that you want to mention. Start with Mary. Maybe just one word.
One word would be hope. That we
Hope.
can do this
Okay.
if we work together.
Thank you, Mary. That's a good one. Maybe Mr. De Jong.
And my one word is innovation. Innovation to solve
Innovation.
some of the problems that have been with us for such a long time. And we're looking at the youth to help us solve these problems. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Bu Rati?
My one word will be education.
Education. Nice. Okay.
So let's have these young leaders to spread the knowledge and awareness on this water-related issue and bring some actions on the ground.
Sure. Thank you, Bu Rati. Prof. Yana, one word.
All the words are taken. My word will be commitment. All the words that were mentioned before. So commitment.
Commitment. Okay, that's a good one also. And Bu Chandra, maybe I hope you're not run out of words.
Actually, Bu Rati and Iwana took my words, so now I have to invent one. But I guess that will be togetherness. We need to do this
Togetherness.
together. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for all the panelists. May I wrap up the words. It will be hope, innovation, education, commitment, and togetherness. And those values are very important for you to contribute in the water sector. And I think with Water Sustainability Leader Awards, it's a start. And also we will engage more in the World Water Forum in Bali. And I think that's also a good moment for us, for youth together, and also to start collaborating. Yes, I think before we close the session, we can take a pictures together. Maybe the panelists can put their best smile for the pictures. Maybe for the committee. Yes. I will count. 1, 2, 3. Yes, maybe one more, yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the committee, it's all good. I think, yeah. Yes. Thank you so much for all the five panelists. Me personally, I also get so many insight from so many different sectors. That's the end of the sessions, and I hope all the participants also get so many insightful perspectives and they willing to contribute more in the water sector. I will thank you so much. I'm Sabrina, and I will give the floor back
Untuk
to
absennya
Mas
gimana?
Thank you. Terima
Thank
kasih.
you. Thank you
you.
for having and thank you all.
Thank
It
you
was
so
really
much.
inspiring.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much. Great job.
Bye.
Maaf izin bertanya untuk absensinya apakah ada
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Sabrina, for moderating the webinar and engaging process of discussion. Also, thank you so much to our honorable panelists and participants. I strongly believe that we have now gained valuable insight into the vision of sustainable water development. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it's the time we've been waiting for that we would like to announce top 300 bootcamp participants. So, are you ready? Okay, these are the 3 bootcamp participants. All right, congratulations for the selected participants. Hope you will get the best experience during the bootcamp. For you, who hasn't collected as bootcamp participants and also hasn't registered, don't worry, we still have opportunities to come and engage in 10th World Water Forum. And again, I would like to inform you that the committee will share the attendance link through the chat column. So the participants could fill out the form later. Yes, the committee is already sent the link through the chat column. As I've mentioned to you earlier that there will be a door prize for the participants with the best questions. Stay tuned because the committee will contact you through the email. So, All right, ladies and gentlemen, and now we have Karisma as Youth Delegates World Water Council. She is also becoming youth focal point for 10th World Water Forum. She will explain the Bali Youth Plan, the opportunity for youth to join the 10th World Water Forum. To Karisma, the time and screen are yours.
Thank you, Mr. Rinaldi. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here and to be able to meet all of you. I'd like to thank all of you for being able to organize this and get everybody on one single platform to be able to talk about youth engagement, which has been the core of our foundation for the 10th World Water Forum. Today's presentation is going to be about the different kind of youth engagement activities that we have been focusing on in the process of the 10th World Water Forum. And as you know, that a lot of these activities and events have been happening since the first stakeholders meeting, which is the kickoff meeting, which was in the month of February last year. To start off with, let's bring the youth program timeline on the screen, which gives you a summary of the youth activities that the youth team has been organizing. Now, we have an official Bali Youth Plan that is co-headed by representatives from the World Water Council and the Indonesia government to the national organizing team, which has drafted this plan. But I'm going to be extremely transparent in sharing this with you that the NOC and the co-hosts from Indonesia have done maximum of their job in bringing a lot of youth engagement activities to line. We started, of course, with the river cleanup. We went on to organizing Share Your Water Stories. We had a video competition. We have an ongoing youth podcast. We have the YWSL, for which also the bootcamp participants have just been announced before this. A youth book participation that is upcoming in the month of April. And of course, on the ground youth activities that will be during the forum in Bali. To take you further on what has been the core idea of having our youth engagement is to make it a part of the three processes of the forum. That is the thematic process, the regional process, and the political process. Now, in the past few forums, we've realized that despite that we had youth engagement activities and a youth innovation center in the name of Youth Space, we were not really satisfied with the fact that youth was not included in the main forum. Is why for the 10th World Water Forum, we have youth as a part of all three processes, which is the foundation of the World Water Forum's concept, the thematic, the regional, and the political process. In thematic process, we have about close to 13 youth organizations who have been a part of topic coordination groups. Besides this, there were also applications that were rolled out for youth to participate as session coordinators. A lot of young people have been contacted to be able to help with the sessions as speakers, moderators, rapporteurs, associates. The same goes with the regional process. Across the 4 regions, applications were rolled out and selected youths have been contacted. In terms of political process, as you know, the Bali Youth Plan has dedicated representatives who attended the first preparatory meeting in Paris in the month of January and will also be attending the next meeting next week in Paris as a preparation to the political process. The Bali Youth Plan has been a collaborated effort between the Council and the NOC. And we have close to about 26 working youth organizations who cover more than 1,000 young people across the globe. We have been able to make a solid foundation of this group, and we're really hopeful that we will take this Bali Youth Plan to the further forums also. To take you through the youth program, as you know, we started with the Share Water Stories. It was a social media campaign that encouraged youth to promote their personal stories, experiences, and perspectives. We had a river cleanup program that was organized on site in Indonesia, which had a lot of participation from the Indonesian youth. We had an online video competition as a platform to connect, learn from each other, and foster a deeper understanding. In fact, the top 10 participants were also selected, and you can see that the participation includes a lot of global participants, and selections also to have more than about 7 people who are going to be coming from different countries to Indonesia. As our ongoing program, we have a youth podcast. I remember being a part of the first episode, and it's been our ongoing efforts in order to bring more and more young people to join these candid conversations and to understand the topics of discussion. It is something that is still going on. So if you have not got a chance to listen to one of these, follow the 10th World Water Forum Instagram handle, and you will see that timely these youth podcasts have been organized. It's been a great way to get not just youth talks conveyed, but to try and build the basis for a future intergenerational dialogue that we could actually look at in one of our sessions in 10th World Water Forum. Then we have the Young Water Sustainability Leaders Program, which was also, of course, called out recently, and followed by which we have the biggest water learning boot camp. Close to about 300 participants will be participating in this. And 6 sub-themes of thematic process, as you know, will be the basis of the Young Water Sustainability Leaders Program. Followed by this, we have a youth book that the youth team has been working on, the process for which is also undergoing, and it is going to be next month that this will be worked on. So it's yet another opportunity to look at. Coming to the youth space, which I think is the heart and soul of our today's conversation, that we will be having a Youth Innovation Center, a youth booth in the main expo area at the 10th World Water Forum Convention Center. And this is going to be an opportunity for you to participate, because we do plan to host a lot of sessions, activities, and events in the youth space. So if you are coming to Bali, please drop by, come, network with so many young people, participate, talk to them, share ideas. If you have some suggestions, then write to us on our youth email ID. Convey us what you think should be considered as a session or an activity. We are planning to do a lot of fun things also. We could have some competitions, maybe painting, drawing, slogan writing. And it's going to be an opportunity for all of us to network and talk and take this movement forward, and not just limit it to Bali, but take it ahead of Bali. And now, if you're not coming to Bali yet, here's an opportunity for you to come. We have rolled out the Bali Youth Representative Sponsorship Program. Again, it's a very big thanks to the government of Indonesia for being able to put this opportunity forward to get more and more young people to participate. The applications are currently open. So please go to the 10th World Water Forum website, or you will see the register link on the screen. One of our youth representatives could also drop it on the chat. Apply, submit your application. The application deadline is very close. It's going to be before March 31st. So please don't forget to enroll yourself, and you'll get a fully funded trip to Bali, and you can participate, be there, represent the young voice, and share your ideas and come forward to be able to talk. That's it from today. Just an quick slide. If you are looking to be a part and collaborate at the 10th World Water Forum, then you can look at the QR code on the screen and join the group and be a part of this big movement that will continue even beyond Bali. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karisma, for your time and explanation about the Bali Youth Plan. All right, before we move to the end of the event, I would like to invite all participants to open your camera for the photo session. I saw there are 4 screens over here. and the committee will help us to take quick shots. I will count in 1, 2, and 3. Okay, again. 1, 2, and 3. The third screen. 1, 2, 3. The last one. 1, 2, and 3. All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of today's webinar. To our esteemed speakers, moderators, your expertise and insights have been invaluable. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today. To our partners, your support and collaboration have been instrumental in bringing this event to fruition. To our diligent committee, teams working tirelessly behind the scenes, thank you for ensuring a seamless and enriching experience for our participants. And of course, to all our participants, thank you for your active engagement, thoughtful questions, and your commitment to shaping a smarter and more sustainable future. Thank you for being a part of the journey. Let's carry the inspiration and hope from today's discussion into the future. With that, I bid you all a fond farewell. Until we meet again, whether virtually or in person, may you continue to be young water sustainability leaders. Stay safe, stay inspired, and let's make global water security a reality. Goodbye and have a wonderful day.
When water is there, life thrives with such flair. When water is scarce, life seems in despair. When water is unpredictable, our world feels unendurable. Water can create peace, but also can spark a conflict. As climate change looms and populations boom, nations must urgently convene to safeguard this vital scene. We must all realize, water is a human right, no compromise. Intrinsic to every aspect of life. Public health and prosperity. Food and energy security. Economic productivity. And environmental integrity. On the World Water Day 2024, we work together and collaborate, hand in hand. Creating a peaceful world, so no one's left behind. Let's bring solutions into sight, uniting us in its might. Water for peace. Let this cause never cease.
Generasi Muda PUPR atau Genmud PUPR dibentuk atas arahan Menteri PUPR Bapak Basuki Hadi Mulyono yang bertujuan sebagai wadah komunikasi lintas generasi guna menjaga sinergi dan kolaborasi, meningkatkan kompetensi dan kepekaan terhadap lingkungan sekitar. Saat ini, penggerak kegiatan Genmud PUPR tersebar di seluruh UNOR di Kementerian PUPR yang semakin membuat eksistensi Genmud kian terpancar dengan telah terlaksananya Genmud PUPR berdialog, peringatan HUT Kemerdekaan RI dan Hari Bakti PU, Pesta Rakyat, serta kegiatan lainnya oleh para generasi muda di setiap UNOR di Kementerian PUPR. Pada tanggal 17 Agustus 2020, Genmud PUPR telah membacakan deklarasinya di Panggung Merdeka di depan Bapak Menteri PUPR, di mana Genmut PUPR siap dan sigap menjadi garda terdepan penyediaan infrastruktur di Indonesia. Mereka adalah insan-insan bangsa yang berjiwa aiproof, setia kepada Pancasila dan NKRI, senantiasa meningkatkan kompetensi dan berinovasi, serta tak gentar menghadapi era baru demi kemajuan bangsa.
Young Water Sustainability Leaders. Of supercharging talents to drive success. Empowerment and growth for limitless possibilities. Towards green business transitions, we are expert hub, knowledge hub, talent hub in energy sector, and sustainability concern. Bringing together the expertise and resources, empowering growth and supercharging talent employability, connecting innovation and market, enhancing capacity and building partnerships and networks to address communities' needs and aspiration. We support and empower partners in maximizing positive impacts, in unlocking potentials to grow towards a sustainable future.